When I was a kid, I always thought that I was gonna get rich, right? Straight up. I had a vision when I was 5 years old. God showed me, boom, you're gonna be one of the rich people in the world, right? Now this sounds crazy because at the time, we living in Liberty Village. This is by all means a very hood environment in the early 90s. My dad had just died, and rest in peace to him. It would have been his birthday the other day, on the 18th. But by all stretch of logic, it would be impossible for this vision to be real at the time, right? Just statistically, right? If you think about single parent homes in that environment, those kids do not typically end up, African-American descendant of slave children do not end up ascending that high. Now, long and short of it, I'm mentioning this because I want to talk to you about mental illness, right? And in particular, schizophrenia, right? So I've had that diagnosis applied to me, right? And many of the most brilliant people, like our history has taught us, that Abraham Lincoln, or even some of the great minds and people that society discusses like a Kanye, right? These are all people that have been diagnosed with different mental illnesses. Now, the difference between schizophrenia and prophetic vision is belief, right? No one would have ever expected me to get as far as I am. Never. And by all means, I am not the richest person in the world, or near that. However, on things that have mattered to me, which is being a bridge to create equity in my community at scale, I've done as good of a job as anybody in my nation's history, and definitely my state's history, right? So that being said, there's gotta be people, I know there's brothers that's this Christmas frustrated they can't do things for their family on any day, let alone during the holidays. Maybe they've just lost somebody close to them. I know what that's like. I lost a sister this year. I've lost countless people, friends, siblings in these past couple of years. People I think about every single day. People I see in my dreams and wish that I would have spent more time with. When God gives you a prophetic vision, it don't matter if you're in the hood, you just watched people in your family going to jail, getting AIDS. They could be your parents, it could be your friends. You seeing people guilt in front of you. They labeling you slow, mentally handicapped, using the word retarded to describe your condition. Whatever vision God has for you, it's okay if nobody sees it. And not everything that a book that somebody that doesn't look like you wrote is an illness. Some of it is prophetic. I believe in prophecy, vision, and revelation, right? So I live my life on a different rubric than most people. And I wouldn't even recommend anybody following my footsteps unless they were so anchored in prophetic vision and revelation. In my prayer this morning, great brother Dr. Montgomery, we call him Senator Montgomery, former U.S. Senate candidate, current U.S. Senate candidate, and soon but the brothers went to college at 11, an engineer. He makes airplanes. Many of you heard about him in his story when they went to the white Mar-a-Lago with Gay to meet Trump. I was with my brother on my birthday that day. And we talk a lot about prophetic vision and revelation. And today in our prayer, what we talked about is it's better to look crazy and stupid to the world and be pleased with God and God be pleased with you than it is to look cool and lit in the world and God be unhappy with you. So one of the things that I'm praying for and I'm believing God for is to put the Holy Spirit, prophecy and revelation into the wealthiest institutional financial environments and vehicles. What does that mean? One of my particular skill sets is I have an ability to shrink the world, right? God would just pick me to meet people I always wanted to meet. I could hear about somebody and it could be the biggest person in the world at the top of their craft that's almost impossible to get next to. And then a couple of days later, I'm next to that person. It's just what happens, right? It's just a gift. It's a superpower. And what I found that this year I met, and I've spent some time with leaders of business, whether it's crypto, whether it's entertainment, whether it's finance, politics, presidents, world leaders, royal families. I met some incredible people. However, I found that I have to be the light for the Holy Spirit in the highest realms of government and finance. That doesn't exist. I don't know President Biden. I don't know Ron DeSantis or Trump or any of these people. But I'm pretty sure their priority is not letting the Holy Spirit govern and the Holy Spirit lead. And the overwhelming majority of folks that I met who is completely anchored by the Holy Spirit, they are not the ones that have complete and total resources and leverage on the institutional controls of society. What I found is that the people that is completely, utterly dependent, submitted to the Holy Spirit, most of the time, not all the time, but I would say of those people I know personally, I've been around personally, the majority of the old guard and people making decisions for the world is not that. It's just not that. It doesn't equate. The Holy Spirit and that spirit of prophecy and revelation that's holy, divine, and righteous is siloed from decisions of finance, technology, entertainment, and media. Henceforth, we live in a space of disparity. We live in a world in which so few people control so much and so many are suffering. And while I loved watching the World Cup, I'm grateful for Messi got his win. Watching him, it was very entertaining. Just like sports and a good deal of, look, most of my friends and colleagues have been professional athletes, right? So I respect sports, but one of the things we talk about is a lot of the opiates, whether you're sports and to a big degree, some actual religious activities, or even entertainment movies, a lot of them, social media, it's distracting people from realizing how little equity we all have in this actual system. So me running for president, it's not my ego, it's not anything really that man can give me that drives me. It's more so, it's better for me to look crazy to the world, and the Most High says you've done the things and fulfilled the potential I've had for you than for me to look like I have money or a comfortable life. And I didn't do what the Most High had me here to do. It's better for me to be labeled a bipolar, manic, depressive, schizophrenic since I was a baby, right? Something different about me. It's better for me to be labeled, misjudged, ostracized, stigmatized in the world than it is for me to not fly, jump off that ledge that the Most High has for me, jump out that window and fly. It's better I take my chances in looking crazy or not being popular with man than denying the Most High's ability to demonstrate miracles and show the living God, the living Yahweh, Yahuwah Adonai, showing him. Okay, now I'm preaching. We're going to go there. This is the Mashallah vibes from my boys in the UAE. Davos is coming up. We're going to Davos. With your help, we can put the Holy Spirit into the highest echelons of finance and culture. We can't do it alone. Over the past year, we met with, again, more royals, billionaires, superstars in culture, music, and entertainment than probably almost anybody. And what I found that the first iteration of these meetings, I was very interested in telling the truth about where we are in society, my particular lens as an American, as a Black, brown, indigenous American, descendant of slaves in this nation and descendant of First Nations that is people displaced, lied to about their history. Me having conversations about telling the truth and what equity looks like versus let me just go get some money. Now the challenge of that is I've done a disservice to myself in the short term by being so macro and globally minded and kingdom minded, because the majority of what business and commerce is short-term, bite-sized pieces of information and dealings to achieve tactical objectives. But when you got a kingdom mind and where you know the prophecy in the end is victorious, it's almost like your faith working its way out is patience. So this level of prophecy is not for the weak. God bless y'all young kings. Appreciate that. God bless you, King. Look at him, man. Little young indigenous kings, man. You gotta love it. This level of prophecy is not for the weak. This level of prophetic revelation, vision, and declaring triumph from somebody that has my presence, has my story, has my background in this nation is not being represented. We are seeing tens of billions of dollars being allocated to everybody but us. We have been lied to by the leaders on both sides, especially President Biden in his victory speech says, African-American community, I owe you big time. I got your back. What are they doing? What are they doing? It's foolishness. We live in a $25 trillion GDP with $100 trillion of money being managed, in which we are effectively 0%. And I think my challenge right now is having information and ability to do something with this information, the information being the disparities. What I found is that government, the public sector, and especially the private sector, they're only gonna move when they're forced. Just because you smart, got good ideas and good people around you, It's not necessarily how it always works. Pardon me. A lot of success in business, what I've seen, is more so demonstrating self-interest. And while I understand those are the rules of the game, we're asking for your support to put the Holy Spirit, Most High, Mighty God's kingdom, the Almighty kingdom, whether you identify as Christian, Muslim, Jewish, whatever, atheist, agnostic, whatever. If you believe in that higher power, if you believe something greater than short-term me, selfishness should be leading our country, leading our world, please support our economic ministry. Please help us get to Davos and represent the interest of the people. We are attempting to do this. We are doing this, led by the people. And let me just give y'all an example, and I'm not saying that I would recommend you do this unless you believe what I believe. So I made a choice. I don't own any non-black, indigenous, black, brown, indigenous owned black financial products. Meaning most people, they have the retirement, they might use a TIA craft or whatever the pension system is. And those companies are, let's say in Georgia, we looked at it. It was like Apple, Amazon. You know, people's retirements is really invested in these major companies, big tech, etc. Indices that aren't led by diverse communities. And so my thing is, if it's not enfranchising a business owner from a diverse community, I'm not interested. I don't want any type of product, right? Whether it's an insurance, whether it's a stock, whether it's a bond, I don't get into that. And as far as I understand, about 2/3 or so of Americans own stocks, right? And in the stock market, I only own and have focused on owning assets led by people from underserved communities, black, brown, indigenous communities, or social impact investments that generally benefit humanity at large. And so again, our brother Farrakhan would say, don't spend any money during this holiday season. Only spend it in your community. And I understand them calls as well. What I'm saying is, having a finance background, I don't hold any assets that aren't owned by people that look like me or are allies of the struggle of enslaved Americans, enslaved Africans. Vote for me in 2024 to become president of the United States. And until then, help us achieve our objectives. Support our mission to Davos. Thank you so much for your support. My name is Michael Anderson, AKA Prez. I love y'all. God bless.